Hello, everybody. I'm Dana Brooks, and welcome to another episode of the EmPower Hour, brought to you by the EmPower Plant by Fasig Brooks Personal Injury Law Firm. I am Dana Brooks. I'm a trial lawyer. I'm joined today by Rose Caswick, my law partner. Hello, Rose.
Hello.
And we also have a special guest today. Now, we're missing some of our usual panel because of life. One of them has, family responsibilities, and some emergency came up with that. Welcome to parenting. The other two are coming back from interviewing a woman in Clearwater, Florida, Maggie. She was on, I don't know if you know about it, but Fasig Brooks is bringing to Tallahassee very soon and has been bringing to Jacksonville since Labor Day, a 30-minute TV program called Come Back Stronger. And I'll tell you how it came up. All of us were sitting around thinking about how sick we were of all the negativity in the world. There's just plenty of that. And there wasn't a whole lot of, just good stuff, build you up stuff. And so Jimmy Fasig, and everybody knows about him, he's such a positive energy guy. He wrote a book during COVID because nothing's going to stop Jimmy. So 2020 was going to be a productive year for him, no matter what. So he wrote his book, When Life Knocks You Down, Come Back Stronger. And that was the impetus for us wanting a TV show, this Come Back Stronger TV show. So Kimmy Hogan and Carrie Roan are coming back from interviewing somebody who's going to be on the show, and she is fantastic. I mean, just incredible. These stories that we're bringing you guys, people have just overcome incredible odds to come back to do so much good to the community. It's just empowering. But anyway, today we're talking about election stress disorder. Apparently that's a real thing. If it isn't, it's going to be soon. They'll probably update the DSM just to include this if our country keeps going the way it has been. So as usual, we have a cocktail mocktail of the week. Rose, you want to tell us what we're having this week? Looks divine.
Not on theme at all for the election because we're trying not to think about the election.
No.
It's a champagne cocktail. It's basically a twist on a French 75, Prosecco gin and Saint Germain. And it's in honor of Sofia Coppola, one of the few known female movie directors that we have. So that's
yes. And she's young. She started young.
Yes.
And she had a famous name, but she's put some important work out there, and she's been recognized for it. So I love it, and I love the younger they are, the more turned on I am about it. Female empowerment, female success. So cheers to her. Cheers to us.
Cheers.
Feeling better and dealing with this election stress. Now we're coming at you at 4:15 Eastern time on November 5th, Thursday. I don't know what's happening, but let me I want to talk about how everybody feels first. My feelings have been this. I psychologically prepared myself for this. I was stunned in 2016 with the results. I was shook. I had to leave town. I had to get just away, just have a respite and just get my head cleared. I felt like I had just been sucker punched, blindsided. I just didn't see it coming. So this time I have not taken any solace in any predictions, any polls, anything. I've just said, listen, when George W. Bush got elected, I thought that was the worst thing that could ever happen. I survived, 8 years of it. A lot of people, when Obama got elected, oh my God, this is going to, the end of days. It's going to be terrible. We all survived that. We have all made it through the last 4 years. So I just went into this thinking, I'm going to be cool. I went to bed early election night. I had a lot of energy focused on some local elections and amendments and ballot initiatives, things like that. And I just said, no, I'm just going to get some sleep and I'll wake up and I'll deal with everything. Then I'll be fine. Since then, I've been, just kind of, there's an energy in the air for me, but it's not an overwhelming one. And I'm not real nasty about it. I will tell you this, Jimmy Fasig and I talked about this on Sunday. He and I both just started getting this energy and this vibe of just extreme, I would say, shortness, impatience, the things that we would normally encounter. We're just getting on our last nerves, dogs, kids, people. And we decided it was probably from this election. Rose, are you feeling anything? Were you feeling anything before? Where's your vibe now? Where is your energy?
Well, I'm definitely feeling it. I've been stressed. I'm still stressed, waiting on results. So for me, it's just sort of been, I'm already sort of a anxious, twitchy, nervous person, and it's just compounded. I'm just distracted. I'm like, just keep clicking, refresh, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's not going to do any good. And I actually went to bed early on election day too. I was going to stay up and watch, but then it like stalled for a long time. Like, nothing's changing. I will drive myself crazy if I stay up doing this. So
Has
I'm
it
just
affected your sleep?
from it. Take a breather.
Yeah. Has it affected your sleep at all? Are you still maintaining sleep patterns?
It has. I've had dreams related to the election. I've been waking up earlier than usual and not being able to fall back asleep. So I just try and like listen to something or watch something and not just circle in my head about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you. Um, well, I wanted to do this. We started talking about this among us on the panel earlier this week, and I think it may have been a little too early because of all of us women who were on this panel trying, knowing that we were going to be talking about election stress disorder and tips to manage it, and just maybe just get some things off your chest. We kind of got a little keyed up with each other. It was totally unintentional. It was just it was a delivery of a message instead of someone saying, for this, I've decided that for me, this works. It was almost put out there like, this is how everyone should be. And so if you're super sensitive or you're raw, you can receive that the wrong way. So I encourage everybody to be very careful with your messaging. Maybe use I messages. I feel this way. I feel like this. I think this way. Right now, while everybody's a little on edge, and no, that doesn't mean people are snowflakes. This is a pretty important election for many, many reasons. So some people, I think, we've all got family and friends who are different than us. Rose, do you have anybody like that in your life? People who you have great respect for, they're in your inner circle, but you just can't believe the way they vote.
Yeah, a large portion of my family I don't see eye to eye with. My immediate family pretty much do, but my extended family, there's not hardly a one amongst them that we are aligned politically. So, for the longest time, our family sort of strategy has been don't talk about it. Just
Yeah.
don't. If you don't want to fight, then don't talk about it. And that's what we've done for most of my life. Is just we come, we love each other, we talk about family things, and try not to get into politics if we can.
I try to do that too because I have a lot of friends who are not politically aligned with me. And at this time of an election cycle, whether it's 4 years, every 2 years, or whatever, it gets rough. So to me, I just take a healthy distance. I try not to take bait. I try not to be too sensitive. I try not to engage on things that I know are just an exercise in futility. I'm not going to get flipped. They're not going to be flipped. So let's respect each other and what we're going through right now. So we have a special guest today, and her name is Elizabeth Hughes. She is one of my mentees. She is a young woman in college, and she is very, very actively engaged in politics, looks to run for office herself. She has been instrumental in helping the candidates that she supported and the party. Now, here's the thing about her. I'm oriented one way, she's oriented the opposite way. But are we really opposites? No, we got a lot in common. And there's a lot of things going on with her, and she has and we don't get into substantive discussions about our differences. We just look for commonalities. And when she asked me for advice, if she's getting bullied, in a political situation or whatever, my advice is going to be the same to her. It doesn't matter that she's working for candidates who are opposing the candidates that I'm for. So I want to welcome you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you interested in politics and what you've been doing in the campaign 2020.
As Dana said, my name's Elizabeth Hughes, and I'm a student at Florida State University. I'm studying political science, and I'm hoping to graduate in the next year and a half with my bachelor's degree, and to then move forward with my education by either going to law school or getting a master's degree. I haven't decided yet. But I got involved with politics actually at a very young age. My first political experience I can remember goes all the way back to second grade, actually. I was sitting with my family. It was a 2008 presidential election, and I can remember sitting in the living room and my family, cheering or being upset when the state would turn red or blue. And, they would just kind of I was like, what is going on? What is this red and blue? I like both the colors. What does it matter? But I didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
And my family is not very political. That's one of the only political things I remember as a child. But after that, I said, I kind of want to pay attention to this, see what's going on. And from then on out, I, watched the news. I can remember I wrote a speech and gave a speech to my classroom in 5th grade about negative effects of standardized testing on kids. And, it's just been steadily increasing since then.
I want to tell you how I first met Elizabeth. Yeah, if you don't know me, you don't follow me, I'm very big on female empowerment, and that's feminism, but I don't like the brand that feminism has. I think it needs a rebranding. It turns off so many people. They think that means a particular type of woman. And to me, it just means empowerment of all women to make the choices that are right in their lives. It doesn't mean just empowering women who think and view the world the way I do. And I'm trying to change people's orientation that way. And that's one of the things I love about Elizabeth, because she helps me see things from a different perspective. And I may do that to her too. We still have our core fundamental values and beliefs, but I think the way we interact with each other shows a way to find commonality and reach common goals, because most people really are the same. They really care about the same things. They just want to be safe. They want to earn a good living. They want to be respected. That we're not really different as humans just because we vote differently. I met Elizabeth whenever she was competing in a Miss Wakulla High competition. And I know a lot of people would say, I was a judge for it. And a lot of people say, you cannot tell me Dana Brooks judged a beauty contest. That is not Dana Brooks. That's off brand. It wasn't a beauty contest. It was about debate. It was about policy. It was about how you want to change the world, how you see the world. It was very impressive. Now, obviously, Elizabeth is a physically attractive, beautiful young woman, but it wasn't about that at all. So I didn't mind doing that. And I didn't require that every girl there, think the way I did. So that's how I met her. And then we were lucky enough for her to seek an internship with us. So she's been working with us for 1 or 2 years anyway.
I think about 2.5.
Yeah, well. At my age, you don't track time. I just know she's been around, but she's been lovely, and she's been such a lovely contribution. But Elizabeth, talk a little bit about how election stress has affected you, how you're managing it, and how you're able to maintain good, professional, healthy relationships and friendships with people like me who vote differently than you.
Well, election stress hasn't really affected me that much because I think this is the best time of the year, second to Christmas. It only comes once every 4 years. So it's exciting for me. I think it's fun. I like to see what people do and how people vote, and see the differences between this election and the last election, midterms and all that stuff. But I'm not the average person. Even though it does excite me, there is a little bit of stress involved with it, just because everything is so like go, go, go. I've worked on probably about 15 campaigns between July and the election, and there was not a weekend that we were not doing something, whether it was, digging post holes to stick huge signs up in, or traveling the state to help other people get elected, making phone calls, door knocking, the whole 9 yards. It's go, go, go. And how I've managed that is when I have a firm cutoff time for all work. I try and be done by 7 o'clock, and then I move to any additional schoolwork that I have or spend time with my family. And that really helps me relieve the stress. By just, having that firm deadline on I'm not doing anything after this time, and I'll pick it up tomorrow. If I don't get it all done, I'll just have to work double, the next day. And that's my strategy.
That sounds familiar. The whole working double, because women do that to themselves. They put a lot on them. But I'm very proud of you for setting boundaries like that this
Yeah.
early in your life, because women tend to take on everything. They'll think, oh, it's easier, faster if I do it myself. Nobody will do it to my standards. Let me just take it on. Or, I need to take this phone call, even though it's family time. So I'm very proud of you for setting those boundaries now, because I think that will help you later in life if you decide to, get married, have children, work outside the home, all those things that are options that are available to you. You'll enjoy them more, and you'll have a better mental health if you maintain and erect those good boundaries. Rose, you're good at that.
I try. I mean,
Rose has impenetrable boundaries.
I am very closed off. But it's funny that Elizabeth said that, because that is basically how I did bar prep. Was work on it all day. You have to just tell yourself after 7 or after 8, I'm not doing anymore. It'll wait till tomorrow. We can make it up. We can, do that, because that's exactly what I did. I don't know if I could do that every 4 years, every 2 years, but yeah, it's good to have boundaries. And we're in a hard industry for boundaries, where we've got clients calling, all hours of the day needing things, and you want to be responsive to them. But, there's a few things that can't wait until 8 a.m. the next day. So
100%.
you've got to be, cognizant of things that are true emergencies, and then realize that most of the things aren't. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about some resources for managing. It could be election stress. It could be any kind of stress. What do you two do whenever you're just feeling, I don't know about triggered. I don't say triggered so much as I feel sometimes flooded is the way I would say. I just don't want any more of this particular feeling washing over me. Jimmy Fasig, as we've talked about many times, he's a world-class meditator. I've never seen somebody have so much control over their mind and thought process. I'm not there yet, but I have found meditation to be useful. I can't get more than 5 minutes. I just can't. But do either one of you do that? What are your tools, resources you have for managing stress?
I don't meditate. I did sort of try guided meditations for a while, and I could do it a little bit, but it never really clicked for me. Mostly I just try and distract myself. I'll listen to a podcast or go for a walk or something, because otherwise I am totally the addicted to social media person. I'll just refresh Twitter, scroll. Oh, I'm out of tweets on my feed. I'll go look at somebody else's profile. So it's just a loop, you get into it, and it's so easy to do it on your phone that even if you put on TV or do something like that, you're still going to be picking it up and looking at it. So I've got to, I'll do my cross stitch, I'll try and cook or do something with my hands where I can be listening to something or watching something, but I can't be actively refreshing and scrolling.
That's smart. That's smart. Now, whenever you are engaged in those other things, whether it's a podcast or maybe you have your television on or computer on, however your age group watches visual information, do you try to go totally off topic? Are you trying to get off election right now, or are you trying to be reinforced by things that make you feel good? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm totally off. I'm watch something that I want to watch that's not related to the election. Ideally, something that's low stress. I don't want to, watch something super intense. I don't want to, watch The Sopranos right now. But
yeah. I'm going back and forth. I'm thinking about getting immersed in a series so I can just be so mentally unavailable for things that are making me feel anxious. But other times I don't know. I'm not having as much stress from it. Whenever, like I said, 2016 brought me to my knees. I was not prepared for that, and it took me a minute to readjust. But I've kind of psychologically prepared myself to be able to just keep on trucking no matter what happens this time. Elizabeth, what are you doing? Either it's stress relief or election stress relief. How do you manage not being triggered or flooded, or just feeling like you're not in control and that your emotions are?
If I'm really just having a rough day, I will go outside and I'll either go for a run, go for a bike ride. I really got into bike riding over the COVID lockdown period. We were riding 30 miles a day, and so I'll go for I'll do that or go for a run, just to like, get it out.
Mhm.
And it helps a lot. And as far as the election goes, like I said, I haven't really felt much election stress. It's been more excitement, like, oh my gosh, when's the next one gonna close? When's the next poll gonna close? That was election night. And election day, I actually ended up having a 22-hour day.
Oh yeah.
I was up at 4 a.m. election day morning and then didn't go to bed till 2 a.m. Wednesday night. And so I then woke up at 7 the next morning to check the polls, but I did go back to sleep. I said, I can't wake up right now. Nothing has changed. So I think just really taking it, one step at a time and not completely immersing yourself into what the news is saying or checking, the map every, 30 minutes. I've played some games with my sisters today, done things with my family. And that's what's helped me the most, I think, is having, my family to distract me. My sisters, you want to play this game with me? You want to do this? You want to do that? I'm like, sure, why not? I have nothing else to do besides sit here and wait on results to come in or do some schoolwork. And I actually have turned to schoolwork to stop watching the news. And that's when
Last
it's
case
getting
scenario,
bad.
go to school.
Yeah, that's like the cleanest your house will ever be is, during exams or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You find a million other things to do. I want to come back to something you mentioned, Elizabeth, and that was bicycle riding. Whenever you were in the middle of COVID, you got into that. I'm actually wearing, y'all, my workout clothes. I just am trying to perpetuate a fraud by putting some cute earrings and a necklace with it. If you saw this, an ombre is at the bottom, it's super cute. But and Carrie Rowan, I wish she were here because she would talk about this. But I do think paying attention to your physical health matters. I made that a priority when I turned 50 because I was like, oh, this is getting harder and harder and harder. And I don't exercise because I enjoy it. I exercise because I have to. It's important. Now, I don't mind it. Once I do it, I'm glad I do it. Don't misunderstand me. But it does, I think, help me manage stress. And it helps me feel better thinking that, at least thinking that I'm doing something good for me. I listen to a little bit like you, Rose. I'm social media queen. And so I've always tried to keep it balanced. I want to hear differing points of view, but I don't want to be abused. And so I've kind of had to unfriend some people. Some of the stuff I've seen has deeply concerned me. I saw some posts today about how I hope Democrats are prepared to die for being traitors. And this is
Yeah,
somebody who was a friend on Facebook. Now,
I've
you can
heard some
understand
really bad things.
when you got, 5,000 friends, you don't know these people. I mean, they're not really my friends. They're people, your friend, I'll say yes to a friend request unless there's something blatant about you that just says you're going to be trouble. Now, when someone reveals themselves to be trouble, I'll bounce them in a minute. But I've seen some of that stuff that makes me worried. I'm worried that all the stores are out of guns and ammo. What do you think is going to happen? You really think you're going to take down the American military? What do you think? Crazy. But seriously, there's a lot of people who could possibly be dangerous. Do you two have any fear or concern about that? Let's start with you, Elizabeth.
I'm definitely concerned for the future of our nation. Right now, I'm not too concerned about violence. Maybe when results hit, there may be some violence. I don't see that happening in Florida, though. I see it happening in more of the bigger cities, and Florida is not known for having, huge metropolitan cities like New York or California is. But, as an American, it does worry me that there's so much hatred and division based off of politics. Politics is, of course, important, and elections are, of course, important, but it's not worth killing somebody or threatening to kill somebody over.
Of course not. Of course not. Like I said, I look back on all the things I thought were end of days. You're fine, you survived them. But it bothers me that for so many people, they don't have a greater ability to express their thoughts and feelings than to resort to violence. That they're no more evolved, intellectual, disciplined, just mature enough to express differences of an opinion or take it to, a different way. You can protest in the streets without bringing a bunch of guns. You can let your voice be heard without bringing a bunch of guns. So I think it's mainly just a bunch of blowhards trying to intimidate people feeling like big guys. Because I got to tell you, I've always said this. The ones I've seen, I hope I get matched with them because I think I could take them.
You could take it.
The ones I've seen, they hadn't been out of that recliner in a minute. So I hope
The
that there
bigger
is
they are, the harder they fall.
yeah, I hope if there is a revolution, I get paired with one of those guys that I've seen so far. But anyway, Rose, what do you feel about threats of violence?
Yeah, I think sort of like you both, I'm more concerned about the mindset than any specific, fear about, violence breaking out and there being a French Revolution or something like that. I think part of it has got to be people being, radicalized by social media and by the internet. I feel like they spend all day getting in these fights online and you just argue at each other and you're never going to change anyone's mind. And you feel like I'm giving my best arguments and I'm never changing anyone's mind. So what do I have to do? I have to kill them. They're just unreasonable. They're just got to go. And that's scary. That should not be where your mind goes.
Yeah.
And one of my biggest, I think, fears about any kind of violence that may break out is the same thing we've been seeing all summer with the protests and the Black Lives Matter things, is the disparate enforcement that, the people who are out there yelling at the Nevada election office who are white and who are Republicans are kind of let to do that as long as they don't do anything crazy. Whereas you see, other groups, minority groups being sprayed and things like that and worse. So I just hope that if either side, has some kind of violent outburst, that we don't see these huge clashes.
I hope not. I hope not. And I hope young people don't go and insert themselves in these things, because young people, the best thing about you is your sense of invincibility. That's why we draft you to go to war. You don't think
the
anything will
young
ever actually
people,
happen to you.
I can tell you what I've seen from my friends and how they're feeling. They are actually, I'm surprised at the political knowledge that they have and that they're really actually paying attention to this.
Good.
I've started taking my higher level political science classes, and they teach that young people are not involved. Young people are not sophisticated. They're not, they don't
but
know anything politically.
The people teaching that are not terribly enmeshed in society. They're kind of in their ivory academic tower a lot of times. At your age, you might be getting some adjunct professors and some people who work in the real world, but the higher up you go with your education, the further removed, in my opinion, a lot of your professors are, and they're teaching theory more than reality. So you got to always take what they say and, sprinkle your experience on top of it.
What the young people are doing right now is, I think for the most part, is, kind of polarizing. I've seen several of my friends on both sides of the aisles posting things saying, delete me if you vote this way, delete me if you believe in this, I'm a firm believer in surrounding yourself with people who agree with you and people who disagree.
Right.
I think the disagree is extremely important because, I think to myself, if I'm not listening to other people's views, how can I be knowledgeable? How can I know how to argue my beliefs? Yeah. And, if the other person is right on something, there's been several instances where I've had conversations with people who don't politically agree with me that thought, maybe I need to go home and rethink about this. Yeah. And I think if you're not, with people who make you question, do I really believe what I really believe is true? Yeah, you're not surrounding yourself with the right type of people.
You're not evolving and you're not growing. And that, again, does not mean you don't have a core set of beliefs or values. But whenever you hear other people's perspective, you can only grow and become better. It doesn't mean you're abandoning all the things you hold dear. It means that you are genuinely interested in another person's experience with the understanding that everybody else in the world is not seeing it through that same lens. They're having their own unique experiences. So you can't discount theirs. You can't dismiss theirs. You can't minimize theirs. You're not having that experience. It's not yours to dismiss, minimize, or ignore. So I love that. You sound like you're listening with an open mind and open ears, but firmly rooted in your own value system. So I've always been very impressed with you. I remain that way now. Let's get ready to conclude. I want to talk to both of you and ask you just what resources do you have and what plans, if you haven't shared them already, but mainly what are your plans for the results? How do you think you're going to receive this, react to it? Have you even thought that far? What about you, Rose?
How I'm going to receive the results very much depends on what the results are. I mean, I've already been through the roller coaster of being disappointed by how close it is and then thinking, well, it's not actually that close. And I think the most important thing in terms of that is to, whatever the outcome is, not get complacent. I think it's easy to, if it goes your way, to see it as it's a referendum. Yes, we're
Yeah.
now, we don't have to do anything else because we won. And that is, not the mindset we should be. We need to, stay engaged, stay focused, do all of those things. So we shall see.
Yeah. What about you, Elizabeth? Have you thought about how you're going to respond to the results, whether they go your way or not your way? Have you given it any thought?
Well, I haven't given it too much thought because it's still anyone's game, and it's hard to give it thought whenever there's so much uncertainty with lawsuits and races being just thousands of votes away, counties still not having their ballots, and it's really hard to, even for me, to kind of think about who's going to win. I'm more thinking about is everything that's happening, like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen to America after this? Because we're seeing people are acting so bizarre. They're acting like this seriously is going to be the end of the world, which it's only the end of the world, the end of the United States, if we let it. And we can get past, party polarization, but we have to put the work in for it. And I just hope that we can move forward regardless of who wins, and be united again and stop all of the hatred that you're seeing from both sides, because I'm not a fan of negative campaigning. I'm not a fan of lies. I'm not a fan of any of that type of thing. And for the past probably 6 months, we've all been seeing that, and it's continuously gotten worse, and it's not good for America. It's not good for either side, and we just need to, I think, nip that in the bud and completely stop that type of campaigning and that type of news reporting.
I do too. I've got a lot of ideas for how we could, make these campaigns not so terrible and not so vicious and also not so lengthy. I would like that. I think especially people who have 2-year terms, don't you think that they could get a lot more done if they didn't have to start running for re-election the minute they got elected?
Yeah, I mean,
if you have a 2-year term, you're never not fundraising.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I think AOC mentioned it, that when you get into Congress, it's like the senior people who are mentoring you or showing you the ropes tell you, first thing you do, first day, is call your donors and get them lined up for next time. You're, on a high now, so get them lined up. Like, wouldn't you rather get to work?
Don't you want to get to work for the people who voted for you instead of the people who funded your campaign?
That's just not the mindset we have in politics right now. And it's not good.
It's what's the word for it? It's it just feels filthy. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It feels filthy.
I was thinking disgusting.
Yeah, it's just it's gross.
Self-fulfilling too.
It is, and it perpetuates its own cycle. So I want to thank you for coming. I was going to share I don't know if I said this before, like Headspace, and there's some other meditation apps if you want to go to those. There's a lot of, if you want to go to the EmPower Plant, the EmPower Plant by Fasig Brooks, just Google it, it's on Facebook. It's just a safe, healthy place for people to express how they feel. We try to keep it apolitical, but we just want to build each other up and understand that all women are not the same. We want all women to feel welcome. My plan for the results is if my side wins, I will not spike the ball. I will not take a lap. I will be classy. I will look for the positive things. And like Rose says, I will not become complacent. I'm going to hold these people accountable to do what they promised that they would do. And if they don't, I will find my own way that I usually do of getting their attention. If I don't get my way, I will remember that this has happened to me before. I'm a woman, I'm resilient. I lettered in not getting my way and making something of it. So this isn't going to best me either. It may encourage me to run earlier than I had planned for something. So I don't know. I want to I want to thank you both for coming to the EmPower Hour today. I hate that we missed Kimmy, Carrie, and Lori, but they had other commitments. That's such as life. But I appreciate you making this an important part of your week. Rose, every week you've been here with me. And thank you for visiting us today, Elizabeth. And good luck to you in your political pursuits and your educational
Thank you.
endeavors. And I know you're going to be a winner at whatever you do, young lady. I'm very proud of you.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
All righty. That's it for us this week for the EmPower Hour. If you have some thoughts, if you want to share some tips you have for dealing with election stress, please post them on the EmPower Plant. If you have some topics you would like to hear us talk about, anything that's just building up women and the people who love them, give us a shout out on that. Follow us on Facebook and watch the Come Back Stronger show. It's going to be coming to Tallahassee at WCTV at 7:30 on Saturday nights pretty soon, and we'll be doing a big announcement about that. But we're just trying to build up people, make the world a better place, and we hope you come along with us. Thank you.
Hey.